Hello all. A wonderful morning to all the participants who have joined the webinar today. You're looking at the Endpoint Management Solutions portfolio. These are the list of products what we offer under Endpoint Management section in ManageEngine. And today I'm going to extensively talk about the Mobile Device Manager Plus product. So I welcome you all for the Mobile Device Manager Plus training program. My name is Ruben Karthik, and I'm associated with ManageEngine for the past 6 years. I do the training and implementation for the endpoint management solution. Here is our training schedule to explain about the management scope of Windows 10 and MacBook under Mobile Device Manager Plus solution. So we have made it in a way where the first week, it will be about how you can onboard your mobile devices into a solution, followed by how you could deploy app and configure certain security policy to your mobile devices. Today, in the last and MacBook computers. And all the registered participants will also get the recorded training video once after the webinar is over. And also, you, the participants, can also revisit the question and answers discussed during the training session or the recorded training video in the below mentioned URL. Let's see the training agenda, what I have in store for today. First, I'm going to give a quick introduction about the MDM and the architecture and prerequisites required to manage your devices, followed by how you can onboard your Windows laptop using Azure Autopilot enrollment, and how you can onboard your MacBook using Apple Business Manager. So after the introduction, I'm going to show you the onboarding process of laptops, followed by how we can apply certain basic corporate policies to your device and how we can secure your corporate data in your laptop using the MDM module. Followed by, I will also show you how you can install store applications without the user intervention, and also how you can securely share your content, maybe it could be a document or a file, in a secure way to your devices using our MDM module. And at the end of the training, I will also share certain real-time scenarios which I have faced in my support experience and the best solutions to approach those problems. Meanwhile, if you, the viewers, have any question for us, please feel free to post them in the chat section. I have an expert panel with me who will be able to answer your questions right away. Let's see the overview of mobile device management. So these are the list of operating system and the device type which you can manage using your Mobile Device Manager Plus product. So when it comes to Apple operating system, you'll be able to manage Apple iPhone, iPad, MacBook, and Apple TVs. When it comes to Android, same Android device and Android tablets, even Android TVs, you will be able to manage within our MDM. Same for Windows, you do have Windows Surface Hub apart from laptop, tablet. You'll also be able to manage Surface Hub using our MDM and Chromebooks. So these are the list of device types and the operating system which you could manage under our Mobile Device Manager Plus solution. And the MDM itself is available in 3 flavors under ManageEngine. One, as an integrated solution with the Desktop Central. So Desktop Central is a unified endpoint management product using which you'll be able to manage laptops, servers. Along with that, you'll also be able to manage mobile phones and tablets. So this is a unified endpoint product which is available on both cloud and on-premise. And in case if you're looking only for the modern management aspects, so majorly would like to focus on location tracking and wiping feature on computers, and even if you have majorly of smartphones and tablets, you can also opt for the standalone Mobile Device Manager Plus solution, which is available on both on-prem and cloud. So in case if we have any MSP, the service provider in the audience today, we also offer the multi-tenant architecture where you can also onboard devices from different companies like a service provider. So we offer the Mobile Device Manager Plus MSP solutions for those audience as well. And we understand an MDM admin or be any administrator would like to integrate with as many applications as possible in order to make the administrative task more easy. That's the reason we leverage to integrate with these many applications under our ManageEngine MDM product. So you can integrate with our own ticketing software called ManageEngine Service Desk Plus. You can integrate the ManageEngine Service Desk Plus with ManageEngine Mobile Device Manager Plus. At the same time, you can also integrate with other third-party help desk solutions like Spiceworks, ServiceNow, Zendesk, and Jira Service Desk. And you can also integrate with our own client relationship management software called Zoho CRM. And you can also integrate with Zoho Creator. So in case if you would like to integrate with any other applications apart from the given list, you can always use the publicly available API of our MDM solution to integrate with as many applications as possible. Even if you need any assistance from us, you can also reach our support team at any time, and we'll be there to help you in performing these integration tasks. All right, so this is the Mobile Device Manager Plus architecture diagram, and be it any MDM solution you go with, that will follow a universal architecture when it comes to managing the devices. And there are three major components which plays a role when it comes to managing a device using the mobile device management platform. So first is the MDM server, second, the notification services, and third component, the end device itself. So these are the three major components which plays a role when it comes to managing a devices. And in order to understand the architecture or the workflow better, let's take an example. So today I'm going to talk more about Windows laptop and MacBook. So as an admin, say if I want to find out the location of my Windows laptop, which I manage using our MDM. As an admin, I log into the product, I will initiate a command called locate device, which in turn will be sent to the notification services first. In case if it is Windows laptop, the Windows notification service will receive the command from the server, and using the device UDID or the serial number, it will wake up the end device, which in turn will then contact the server to process the command. So when it contacts the server, it knows it has to perform a location tracking command. So it will fetch those details and send back to the server. And as an admin, I'll be able to see that in the console, in the product UI. So that's how the communication flow will be. In case if I want to find out the location of a MacBook, or say if I want to distribute a Wi-Fi or a VPN profile to a MacBook, the Apple push notification service will receive the command and it will wake up the end device. And when you go with on-premise, you need to make sure you expose the MDM server so that the device can reach the server to process these commands, be it app distribution or location tracking or any commands you initiate from the server. Only if the server is accessible to the devices, it can communicate and post back the status to the server. So when you go with on-premise, you need to make sure you allow the necessary ports and the URLs in your network so that the device can contact and be able to manage. And in case if you don't want to expose your internal MDM server, you can also place an additional component in your DMZ zone, the demilitarized zone, where you can place the secure gateway server, which will act like a relay between your internet devices and the internal MDM. So whenever whatever command has been, or whenever a device tries to communicate to your server from the internet, it will be redirected from the secure gateway component. And you can also integrate your MDM with directory services like Azure Active Directory, Microsoft On-Premise, G Suite, and Okta. So you can integrate with any of these directory services to assign a user or in order to sync groups and apply policies to it likewise. So remember, when it comes to MDM cloud, you just need to make sure the device has internet connection because the MDM server is already in the data center and the notification services are all on the internet. The only thing you need to make sure is whether the laptop or a device has internet connection. But when you go with on-premise, you need to allow the necessary ports like it used 9383 from the device to communicate with the MDM server. And MDM server will use 443 port to contact the notification services. And device notification service will happen through these ports. If you would like to know more about the inbound and outbound port details when you would like to host an on-premise solution, you can also visit the below mentioned URL. And as we saw in the architecture, you might want this So this system also follows the client and server model. So you need to have an MDM profile or an app deployed on all the devices you're going to manage in order to take control, or in order to deploy any policies or application. You need to have the MDM profile deployed on these devices. In the first week of the training, I've explained about the different ways of onboarding smartphones and tablets into our MDM. And today I'm going to show you how you can onboard laptop and MacBook using our MDM module. And when it comes to Android, you need to necessarily have the ME-MDM app deployed. So when you enroll a device, an app gets downloaded, which then needs to be configured for device to communicate with the server. But when it comes to Apple, Windows, and Chromebook, you don't need to necessarily have the ME-MDM app deployed on these devices. We just leverage the native OS client available on these devices, and we'll just install the MDM profile on the OS in order to take control. All right, so in case if you would like to have a one-on-one session, or if you'd like to discuss about the onboarding process of smartphones and tablet, or if you have any specific questions related to the MDM solution, please feel free to post them in the chat and our panel will be able to guide you. So before I explain about the onboarding process for Windows laptop, let me take you to the product console and I'll give you a quick tour about the options and how the solution would look like. So this is how the standalone MDM would be, where under the home section, you'll be able to check the list of devices you manage, like how many smartphones and how many tablets you have. You'll be able to check these details. And OS-wise split up, you can also see how many iOS devices and Android devices you manage. And when you click on the graph here, it automatically takes you to the inventory tab and shows you what are the Apple laptops you have. These are the Mac OS device I manage, so it automatically gets you here. And as an admin, you can also take these information in PDF or CSV for auditing purposes. The Home tab gives you a quick overview about the devices you have, and device management helps you to create policies, add application, or even if you would like to share documents. So this is where you do all the management tasks for your devices. And inventory section gives you the audit details of your laptops or devices you have. This is where you can find out the list of devices you manage and the details about the devices here. As an admin, if you would like to enable any other additional columns for reporting purpose, you do have an option to enable from the column chooser. And you can also check the location data available from all your devices here. And under enrollment is where you onboard your devices. So these are the list of type of enrollment methods we have under our ManageEngine MDM. So you can see all of the different types of enrollment here. And reporting gives you the basic predefined reports available in our section. And in case if you'd like to create a report of your own, you do have an option to create a query report. If not, you do have an option to schedule reports. Like say if I'm an admin, I would like to check the list of apps or the list of devices being added to the solution on every week. Every Monday, if I want to check these reports, I'll click on add schedule report. I'll choose which report I would like to fetch. Apps by devices, app installation summary. Like if I can choose the required report, and I will set a frequency, like say every Monday morning, I would like to check these reports. So this is, and you can also mention in which format the report has to be sent and to which email address. You can also mention multiple email address here. And under administration tab, this is where you set up the MDM. When you have the on-premise model, you need to provide your FQDN fully qualified name so that the devices will use this particular FQDN or the IP address to contact the server. So this information will be passed on the agent profile, like the MDM app or the MDM profile, using which the devices will communicate with. And if you would like to rebrand your company logo instead of keeping the ManageEngine MDM, if you would like to keep your own company logo on the console, you'd have the option to rebrand. And even if you'd like to rebrand the agent application, it's only supported for Samsung devices now. You can go to the enrollment tab and you can also have your own company logo under the ME-MDM app section. So this is about the MDM solution. These are the list of tabs we have. Device management is where you do the management task, inventory to check the device details, and enrollment is for onboarding device. And this is how the desktop central console will look like, where like you said, it's the complete endpoint product, where you have the options to do patching, like you can add Windows, Mac, and Linux machines into the desktop central computer management side, and you'll be able to distribute patches. You can install software, you'll be able to take remote control on the computers. Along with that, you'll also be able to do the modern management tasks like location tracking and remotely wiping laptops and all. Those are these features which will be available only under the mobile device management section. This is like a complete unified product. Whereas the standalone MDM focus majorly on smartphones and tablets, when it comes to MacBook and Windows laptop, you'll be able to do certain modern management activities, which I'll be demonstrating in today's webinar. Let's see how you can onboard your laptops, the new laptops or company laptops using Azure Autopilot enrollment into our ManageEngine MDM. So this is the enrollment workflow where you can, where first you need to integrate your MDM server with Azure Active Directory. Once the server is integrated, you'll be able to add these devices to the business store portal, through which you will distribute the MDM profile to the device. So first, let me show you how you can integrate your MDM server with Azure Active Directory. And as a prerequisite, in case when you have an on-premise MDM, you need to have a valid third-party SSL certificate, which needs to be added to your MDM server. Only then you can integrate with Azure Active Directory servers. And then you need to have an Azure administrator account. And if you're trying to onboard 100 laptops, you need to have the adequate license purchase so that you can assign the appropriate users from the Azure Active Directory portal. So these are certain prerequisites which needs to be met if you'd like to integrate your MDM with Azure AD. And this is how the Azure portal would look like, where you can go to the licenses section and click on all products where you can procure or buy the Azure admin or user license for onboarding your devices. Once the licenses are procured, then you can start adding the MDM application into your Azure AD portal. So that you go to Azure Active Directory, click on Mobility, MDM, and MAN, and click on Add Application. First, let me show you how you can onboard your MDM on-premise solution. So you can click on on-premise and you click on Add option here, where you can fill out the name of your MDM. You can click, or you can choose based on your requirement. You can even choose ManageEngine MDM or your own company name along with MDM. So like this, you can give a name and add the application first, and then you configure the details to the added application here. So you have to add the MDM terms of use URL and MDM discovery URL, which will be updated under your MDM section. So for that, you go to, this is my on-premise MDM server. So you can go to the mobile device management tab. You go to the enrollment section. Under enrollment, you will have separate division for Apple enrollment and Android devices. And under Windows 10, you will see the Azure enrollment here. You can click on this tab where you can find out the details of terms of use URL and discovery URL. So you can copy these details updated under your MDM server and add those details under the Azure Active Directory portal. And in case if you would like to configure an API to perform any integration on the Azure portal or the business store portal side, then you do have the application ID URL here, which you can also update under the app ID section here. This is where you fetch the details of your MDM server and add it under the Azure portal. That's it. So if you'd like to integrate your MDM server with Azure AD, all you need to do is to log into the Azure portal, click on Active Directory, and then go to Mobility, MDM, and MAN, and add the required application details here. That's it. And then you click on Save. The integration is completed for on-premise. And when it comes to cloud, it's even more easy. After you select Add Application, you just search for ManageEngine MDM. It will already be available. So you can just select the ManageEngine MDM application and click on Add, which automatically has all the details updated. So it has a common terms of use URL and discovery URL, which will be automatically updated. All you need to do is just click on save so that your server gets added under the Azure Active Directory portal. So this is how you integrate your MDM server with Azure AD. Once done, you log into the Windows Business Store portal and add your devices and distribute the MDM profile. That's it. So in order to log into the Business Store portal, so you choose the Azure administrator account you have, and you can go to Manage Devices section and create an auto deployment profile. So this is where you customize the device activation settings. As we let's consider all the devices or all the laptops you're trying to onboard or brand new or out of the box enrollment, but these laptops are already procured directly from the store, and you're going to hand over to the employees now after adding the MDM profile to it. So you can customize whatever setting has to be bypassed when the user tries to when the user tries to activate it on the end. So here you can skip the basic Cortana or OneDrive OEM registration setups here, and you can also disable the creation of local administrator account on the laptops. Likewise, you can customize basic device activation settings and create a profile under the Windows Business Store section. And then you start adding the devices. So if you'd like to add a device, you can just have a CSV file which has all the device information. Like if you are procuring 100 new laptops, in the CSV file, even the laptop vendor itself will provide you a CSV file which has the device model, serial number, details. All you need to do is just upload the CSV file here, which will automatically populate all the device information. And once the device is added to the portal, you select them and apply the profile you have created. That's it. So once the profile is applied, the device will wait for the user to turn it on, or when the device to be powered on. So once the device gets turned on, automatically during the activation, once the laptop is connected to Wi-Fi, it downloads the MDM profile and it gets registered within our MDM. So to iterate, you can go to the Manage section. You go to Devices and add the required devices to the portal, and then apply the profile to it. And once the user turns on the device, it will be available under the Staged tab. So meaning like whatever devices have the MDM profile will be listed under the Stage section. As an admin, you can go and assign the user to it. All you need to do is just click on Assign User and provide the appropriate user details. Even you can also go with the bulk user assignment, where you can just update the username or email address against the device serial number. So if one matches with these information, automatically the user will be assigned to the appropriate laptop. Because there could be a scenario where all these laptops might have been procured before even the employee joins the organization, or before even he decides which laptop goes to which user. But still, as an admin, we'll have to make sure all the devices is registered with an MDM solution, so you can keep a track on and you'll be able to remotely manage them. So from the Windows Business Store portal site, you can select all the devices in bulk and you'll be able to assign to the MDM profile you wish. And when it comes to the device activation, once the devices get listed under the Stage tab, from here, you can choose which device serial number belongs to which user, and then you can map it accordingly. That's why we have the enrollment in 2 stages. One, the MDM profile installation. Second, the user assignment. So this is for the new laptops or the laptop which are procured from the vendor, and you want to remotely activate the MDM profile. You go with Azure enrollment. Parent case, there are a lot of laptops which has already been procured and the users are actually using them right now, but still the company or you would like to take control of these devices to manage. You can go with the manual enrollment process, where you can click on Enroll Laptop for Surface Pro, and where you can download the enrollment zip file, and you need to run that in order to manually register the device into a solution. It's very simple. You just download the zip file and run the enrollment batch available inside the zip file, which will register the device into a solution. So Azure enrollment is over-the-air enrollment. Just by using the device serial number, you can select and apply the MDM profile to it. Whereas when it comes to the devices which are already in use, you just go to the enrollment tab and under Enroll Laptop or Surface Pro, you manually download the batch file and then register it. So these are the two ways through which you can register your MDM profile onto Windows laptop. In case if you have any Desktop Central audience today, and if you have the UEM license, and if they have the Desktop Central agent already installed, then it's just one agent is sufficient to take care of all the management tasks. So meaning if you have a UEM license, either you install the Desktop Central agent or the MDM profile, you'll be able to apply all of these policies. You can do patching, you can do mobile management tasks on Windows laptop. In case if you have the standalone MDM, then in order to register your laptops, you only have two ways. One, through Azure enrollment, and then the batch file installation. And now I'll show you how we can onboard MacBook using Apple Business Manager. Again, you need to integrate your MDM with Apple Business Manager portal, and then add the devices to the ABM, that is Apple Business Manager or Apple School Manager portal, and then distribute the MDM profile to the devices. I've already explained this process in the first week of the training, like how to integrate Apple Business Manager server under our MDM and how we can assign user to it. So you can just click on Add Server. It's like a two-way step where you need to download the certificate file from our MDM and go to Apple Business Manager and upload the certificate file. And that will generate another S token, like server token from the Apple Business Manager portal site, which you need to upload back to our MDM. So it's like a two-way handshake again. So you get a file from our MDM, upload it in the Apple Business Manager portal. You go to the settings section, device management settings, add the MDM server. You need to upload the key which has been downloaded from here, which will generate another token, and you need to re-upload back here. So you need to upload here and then complete the integration. Once this is done, you can go to the Apple Business Manager portal, go to devices, automatically, in case if you purchase your MacBook from Apple Store or from the authorized resellers, then automatically all the device details will be updated under your Apple Business Manager account, so which you can just select. So if you want to select the required devices, you can even select the devices in bulk, and then click on Edit Device Management and choose the appropriate MDM server you want to assign these devices to. Just click on Continue. That's it. So this is how you integrate your MDM with Apple Business Manager portal. And if you would like to know about the preferred resellers, or if you would like to know how we can onboard MacBook using the Apple Business Manager portal, you can still go to the Apple enrollment section, click on Help article here, which will give you the complete step-by-step procedures to integrate and onboard devices. And if you would like to know about the preferred resellers list here, you can also click on this link. So Apple Business Manager has to be supported in your country, and the device has to be purchased from Apple Store or from resellers directly. So you can find the reseller list as well here. So that's how you onboard your MacBook into our MDM solution. So I've explained how we can onboard your devices now. In case if you have any queries related to the enrollment or onboarding process, please feel free to post them in the chat. Now I'm going to show you how we can apply certain basic policies to your devices. Like say, my management would have asked me to configure the corporate Wi-Fi profiles and email policies and all to my laptops. As an admin, I'll have to make sure these policies are already applied to the devices. So when the device is powered on, automatically these settings have to be loaded on to the endpoint. So how we can apply or how we can achieve these kind of management settings onto the devices. For that, you go to Management tab. Remember, like I said, all the basic management tasks will be carried out under this particular section. The groups and devices is where you group your devices. Let's say I have finance department, I have marketing department, I have testing team. Like this, you can create a group based on devices. Like you can select the appropriate devices and form a group. You can also choose Apple devices in one section, and Apple laptops into one section like this. You can apply a filter and select all the devices, and you create a group so that this belongs to MacBook. So I can create a group like this based on devices. And then you create a device to create a group like this. And in case if you like to create a user-specific group, like say one user might have multiple devices under him, but I want to apply based on the designation or based on the roles that they have in the company, then you do have an option to create a group based on the user-specific. And as I stated before, in case if you have the groups already added under or created under your directory services, you can add your directory services under the enrollment section, directory services. You can add your on-premise Azure or Okta or G Suite directory services under this particular section, and you can enable a sync so that automatically all your AD groups will be listed under the section. You can even apply a filter and see only the AD groups created here. The grouping helps you to select the group and apply policies and documents to it. So as I've stated, I'm going to create a policy for my Windows laptop first. I'll choose Windows. And I'm going to create a profile. So for that, first, along with the Active Directory passcode policy, I want to make sure I apply a more secure policy too. So what I'll do, I'll make sure the minimum passcode length to be at least 6 digits. And I want them to change the password every 90 days. So every 3 months, I want them to change their password for security reason. And I want to restrict the maximum failed attempts even. So if anyone tries to enter, say an unauthorized, if the device or if the laptop has been lost or stolen, and I don't want any unauthorized user to get the correct data available on these endpoints. So what I'll do, I'll make sure if anyone tried to enter a wrong passcode for more than 6 times, I'll trigger a factory reset. So when you create a policy like this, so whenever a user tries to enter the wrong passcode, they will get a prompt. So you only have 5 attempts remaining, 6 attempts remaining, and it gets now. And if all the attempts have been exceeded, it automatically triggers a factory reset on the laptop. So you create a passcode policy first, and then I'll go create a Wi-Fi profile. Say I want to make sure automatically when the user steps inside the office premises or inside the corporate network, I want their devices to be automatically connected. So I'll choose the Wi-Fi SSID name here, and I'll make sure the device connects to the Wi-Fi automatically, and the security type to be, you can just make sure what protocols you have for the Wi-Fi, and then you say the passcode. And not just one Wi-Fi profile, you can add multiple Wi-Fi profiles here. And even if you have a certificate-based authentication for your Wi-Fi profile, you do have an option to go with that type. So you add multiple Wi-Fi profiles to your devices and VPN. So after these remote work from home scenarios came into the picture, like after the pandemic, so many companies have started to adopt these VPN clients for accessing the corporate data or documents. And as an endpoint management software site, we want to make sure the administrators can remotely apply these VPN profiles and policies using our NDM module. They can just choose the appropriate VPN you have and provide the server name and IP address, even if you want to configure per app VPN. Like say, only when the user uses Outlook mail, I want them to be connected to the corporate network. So I want to know the mail workflow or the attachment files being get filtered out in the mail. Likewise, if you want to make sure one certain app has to be connected through the corporate network, then you can mention the list of app you wish to connect with under the VPN. And you can also lock your laptops with single or multi-app kiosk mode, where only the apps you configure here will only be allowed for the users to use. Nothing else will be. It's like a whitelisting feature where you lock your laptops with the required application here. And apart from that restriction, where you can restrict the users from taking screenshot or connecting the device to a USB stick or network level, where you don't want the device to be connected on any other VPN apart from the one which you configure here, or Wi-Fi to be always on, and security level where you want the location services to be always turned on the laptop. So I don't want my users to change the location services. Then you can just choose this always on as a Wi-Fi as a restriction policy. So you create or customize this policy based on your business need, and you publish this. Once after the profile is published, you can go select the required device or a group, and then you publish it to your devices. So for a safety reason, we recommend you to test these policies with 1 or 2 devices first. I'll go with platform Windows, and I'll select one laptop first and apply this policy to this user first, just to check the policies and settings work fine. And let's assume I've applied this policy and this seems to be working fine. Then I'll go to the group, I'll select the appropriate group, and then I will apply the policies to the entire group. So it's better you test it with 1 or 2 devices, be it policy, profile distribution, or app distribution. You test it with one. And this is how the kiosk mode will look like on the Surface tab. So this is where if I'm locking my devices with only few apps, only those apps will be allowed for the users to use. Nothing else will be enabled for them. So even the other settings or restrictions will be applied. So the users can only access to the app or the list of apps, whichever I have added under the kiosk section. And for Mac machines, let's say the same way Wi-Fi, VPN, and security hardening and proactive policies for the costly data. Let me show you what are the different policies you can apply to your MacBook. So you go to the profile, you have Mac OS. So you have a separate profile for iOS and iPad OS. And for MacBook, you have a separate profile for category for Mac OS. You can click on this. And you create a profile. So here is where you, again, based on this passcode, you can choose what type of passcode the end user has to keep. And the account log duration time, if the system is idle for a minute, you just log the devices, and maximum passcode each, again, 90 days. And fail attempt 5 times, I have not reset. Restriction, where you can restrict camera, screenshots, and music access. It's all based on the business need. You can apply these restrictions to your devices. And VPN, you can still connect to a list of VPNs available under our MDM profile. So you can choose the list of VPN. And when it comes to MacBook, you can also apply file vault encryption, where you can lock your MacBook or you can encrypt your MacBook using our MDM profile itself. So you can either go with a personal recovery key, and if you would like to display the recovery to the user, you can choose yes. If not, only an admin can see under the inventory tab, which I'll show it to you in some time. So you can also go to the inventory section and see the list of the personal recovery key or the encryption key under the inventory security settings. If not, you go with an institutional level recovery key, where you can create an institutional certificate and attach that in the profile, and using which you can encrypt all your MacBooks. You can also go through the list of steps needs to be followed to create a certificate and add it to the file vault encryption section. But I would recommend you to go with a combination of both. The more safe and secure you have, it's better. So you can combine both personal and institutional level recovery key to encrypt your MacBook using our file vault encryption profile settings. Same way, you can also prevent the unauthorized access, even the external access for on the laptops using the format password protection. So if anyone tries to boot the Mac using an external disk, even if the laptop is logged out or it's been encrypted, still you can enforce the format password if anyone tries to boot the computer using an external disk. So you have the password is set, and you can apply this policy through our MDM profile as well. So you create the required payloads or policies under Mac profile, and we also started supporting the system preference policies, where in case if you want to give remote control or file access to certain application, because as you know, whenever you try to remotely connect to a MacBook, it prompts you to accept the tool under the private system preferences of the privacy settings. So you can just customize these options remotely through our MDM. And also you have system extension, which you can configure under our MDM profile. Custom configuration, even if you want to add or migrate the policies, whichever you have configured so far using the Apple configurator, if you want to achieve that remotely using our MDM profile, you can import the XML or mobile config files into our Mac profile and remotely distribute that to the devices. So these are the Mac OS policy settings you have, and through which you can securely lock your devices. So as I said, what will you do if someone breaks into your Mac and gets all of the corporate data? That's where you apply the passcode policies, file vault encryption, and format password protection. These are the useful restriction policies through which you can secure your MacBooks. And if you would like to check the encryption keys, you can go to the inventory tab. And you can click on the laptop name. Under the security settings, you will have the encryption keys and format passwords, which an admin can only see those details here. All right, let me show you how we can manage applications and content using our MDM profile to your MacBooks and Windows laptop. So first, in order to deploy applications to MacBook, only the Apple App Store application can be distributed through our standalone MDM. So you can go integrate with Apple Business Manager, and you have the app repository section here. You can go to Apple App Management. So whatever app you add under this content section, apps and books, you can select the required application. Let's say you want to do Dropbox. So you can just select Dropbox as an application and choose to which MDM server you want to assign these to, and for how many MacBook you want to apply this policy. You can also mention these options here. And then you can click on Get so that the policies will be applied. And so once the app or once the application is being synced from your Apple Business Manager to your MDM, once after you click on Get, so the app will be listed under the app repository section. Like how you used to deploy profile, same way, you select the group and choose application and choose the required app needs to be distributed. And when you distribute an application, you can either choose silent installation. If not, you distribute the app catalog. So it's like a self-service portal where the users can go to the ManageEngine MDM app, they go to the app catalog, see the list of app being distributed, and then they can initiate the deployment. Okay, so this is also a way where you can distribute the application. And to distribute the Windows Business Store application, you need to integrate with the Azure Administrator, the Windows Business Store portal again. You need to have an Azure Administrator account. You go to Device Management App Repository section, click on Windows App. You can click on Login now. And like how we did before, you use the Azure Administrator account to log in and accept the terms and conditions so that the MDM app gets verified under your Business Store portal. Once that is done, it automatically be distributed to the devices or Windows laptops you have as well. So it gets synced. And once you have logged in and accepted the permission or the terms and condition under the Windows Business Store portal, the app starts to sync. And if you want to add any more application, you go to Shop for My Group, search for the required application, and you click on Get. That's it. So once you click on Get the app, it will be added to the app repository section. And then you will be able to distribute. Like you go to Shop for My Group and search for the required application. If not, you scroll down and choose the required app you wish. And you click on Get the app so that it will be added to your Business Store portal. You can choose any app you wish. And you can click on Get the app as an option here. So the thing is, when it comes to MacBook and Windows laptop, if you would like to distribute store application, you have to use the appropriate store portals, like either Apple Business Manager portal or Windows Business Store portal, so that you add approve the application from these portals so that it gets added to the repository under your MDM account, then you're going to distribute. So in case if you want to distribute your own enterprise application, say either you have an MSI or the Apex file which you want to distribute your devices, you go to Management tab, you go to App Repository, and choose either MSI or Windows Enterprise application. So you can just search for the Apex file you have, and it automatically gets verified. So after you upload the Apex file, it starts to validate the file information as well. It will fetch whether it needs any dependency files, or let me try to upload it another server as well. Yes, so it fetches these information, and in case if it needs any app identifier or other details, let me try to add again. So you can, it automatically validates, and you can also pre-fill these details in case if you want to customize the user or any details about the application, you will be able to configure that, and then you add it to the app repository section. That's how you upload your own enterprise Apex files and remotely distribute that using our the groups and divisor using our MDM module here. And how now let me show you how we can securely distribute the corporate data or certain content using our MDM profile. So when I mean it's a secure way to share files, I don't want the users to share these files across many applications or modify these files. I want to make sure these are corporate company policy documents which I want them to be viewed but not able to share or edit these files. So what I'll do, I'll go to the content management section. I'll add the necessary files. You can add the required files here. So be it any type of files, it could be a document, it could be audio, video, or image, any type of files, you'll be able to add it under the section. Once the file has been added, you can select the required files and share it with your device group. If not, you can specifically choose an individual device and be able to share it across as well. So this is how you add a document and be able to share it with your endpoints. And as a user, the users can go to the ManageEngine MDM app. They will have the content catalog here, and they can only view these documents within the app. They cannot share it across any other applications, or if they want to download and modify, they'll not be able to do it. So this is a secure way of sharing these files using our content management. In case if you would like to allow the users to download or modify any specific document, you have a content policy in our latest build where you can create or add the permissions to the appropriate document you're adding. That's how you configure these details here. And apart from that, recently we have even introduced the announcement feature. So you can also create announcement messages to the mobile devices and tablets you have, that you can pass out any information, like say if you want to call up for a board meeting, or if you want to announce about a public holiday or any details. If you want to send an announcement, you'll be able to make use of it under the tools section. All right. So I've explained about the onboarding process and how we can apply basic policies to the device and how we can add application and distribute and also document through our MDM. Now I'm going to share certain real-time scenarios and the most frequently asked questions to the support, which I'm going to share it to you now. In case if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat, and our expert panel team will be able to guide you. So first scenario, taken as we use Active Directory in our organizations to manage user. So is it possible to add the MacBook as well into our organization Active Directory so that I keep a track on the device list. So in case if you are a major or an active AD user and you want to add your MacBook also into your um, Active Directory or used, so we do have an option under Profiles. So either you go to Device Management Profiles. If not, you have the quick link options here. So you can click on this and click on Mac Profile. It automatically takes you to the profile creation page. And here you have the AD asset binding, the Active Directory asset binding, where you can add the Active Directory details and be able to sync it. Let me check from. So where you'll be prompted to enter the OU details and the Active Directory login credentials so that it will be automatically added when you deploy these MacBook profiles here. Yes, you can select the appropriate AD domain you have and mention the OU path here so that if you would like to map or add the MacBooks to the appropriate OUs, you may have to mention the path. And we have also provided how to get the steps of your OU path. So you can mention that as well here. And if you want to make sure the MacBooks can be logged in only when the Active Directory only when the domain controller is accessible, then you go with the network option so that only when the MacBook user is connected to the corporate network or only when the Active Directory is accessible, they will be able to sign in or log into the MacBook. Else, if you choose mobile, they can log in even if it is inaccessible. So that's the difference here. Based on the business use case, you can restrict your MacBook users to sign in using the AD credentials as well. And is it possible to locate the Windows laptop and MacBook using our MDM? Yes. So let me show you what are the policies you can apply using our MDM to MacBook. So you can go to the Mobile Device Management tab. So I have added one of my test laptop under this MDM section. So you go to the inventory section here and you click on the laptop name. So this is where you get to see the device information. So you can know what laptop it is and which runs on which operating system, and device information. If you would like to know the serial number, UDID details, you'll be able to check those information here. And geo tracking. So this is where you find out the locations of your laptops too. So you can just mention those options. You can click on geo tracking and you'll be able to get these locations here. And along with that, you'll also be able to do these remote commands. Say in case if the laptop is lost or stolen, I want to locate it and I want to wipe the data or only the corporate data available on the devices, then you do have an option here. You can go to corporate wipe. So this will remove only the documents and policies, whatever you have distributed through our MDM. So meaning like if you want to make sure only the corporate data doesn't get leaked, then you can trigger a corporate wipe if a device is lost or if it is stolen. And even if you would like to do a complete wipe, like factory reset on the device, you do have an option to it. For laptops, you'll be able to locate, wipe, and also be able to distribute Wi-Fi and VPN profiles using our MDM. So how can we secure all the network communications in the managed devices? I want to make sure all my laptops use a particular proxy tunnel or firewall in order to contact the MDM server. Then you do have a policy under the Windows section or MacBook sections where you can go with VPN, where you can make sure the devices connect only to the corporate network. And for a MacBook, you do have global HTTP proxy, where you can also set the proxy settings and make sure the device will communicate only through those options. So the device will use only this particular server details to connect you to your MDM server. So this is a way where certain clients will also connect with other support team to know the process of doing it, so that they make sure only the registered devices or only the registered clients can get into the MDM server. And does MDM on-premise offer data loss prevention or when it comes to server downtime? Yes, we do have the failover concept. So where you can have another additional server which periodically monitors the activity of the primary one. And if the primary server is down for more than 2 to 3 minutes, it automatically gets up. The failover server is also available, for which you need to have another additional license and you need to have an MS SQL database so that you map both the profiles or both the servers to a common database. So we do offer the failover server to prevent the data downtime. And is it possible for you to decide what data to be fetched and displayed by MDM for the management? And can the same be informed to the users? Yes. So you have the option under admin device privacy section where an admin can customize what details to collect and what not. For example, I don't want to find out, I don't want to collect the phone number or the user install app. So whatever app they install, I don't want to keep a track on that. Then you can choose these options to not collect. But when it comes to geolocation, I want to collect and display these details. And if you would like to do a complete wipe or say only corporate wipe, so you can choose the appropriate option. So you can enable the complete wipe, but only for corporate device and not for personal employee's own laptop. So likewise, you can enable the appropriate commands you wish, and the same will also be displayed under the ManageEngine MDM app. The users will be able to see this information under the app, like IMA number is displayed and location data is displayed. Like this, the users can also see these options under the device privacy section. And what are the options available to secure the MDM on-premise server from unauthorized access? Of the MDM on-premise or the cloud instance, you can prevent the access of the portal by integrating with your Active Directory services. For example, instead of using a local authentication, you can also integrate with your Active Directory and use that login credentials to sign into the portal. So when the users sign in, they have to provide their AD details to sign on. If not, you do have a two-factor authentication where you can also use an email-based OTPs, if not a Google Authenticator OTP, to sign into your devices or into the product console. And at the same time, if you have an on-premise and if you're more concerned on the security aspect, say I want my administrator to access the product console only within the corporate network or only within a particular IP range, then you do have an option to restrict the login based on a particular IP subnet or an IP range as well. So you can restrict the console access from the URL level as well, and also from the login credential aspect even. In case if you like to have an AD integration and two-factor authentication along with that for an administrator to login, yes, you do have an option here. At the same time, in case if you have a role-based access, say I want to create technicians and I want to give a particular roles to them, I don't want them to see the entire device list. Say if you have a location-specific or a department-specific scope, you do have an option to define it here. So I create a technician and I'll give them an asset management rule so that they can only check the list of app and location details about the devices. And when it comes to device list, I will only choose this to sales and marketing department, either finance department too. So when I create a technician, I would give a name and define a role, and also I will define the scope to be managed by the user. So this is a way where you can also secure the on-premise or either a cloud access using the MDM modules available. And how do you secure the personal information when the report is being downloaded or being sent for auditing purposes? So what are the possible ways you have? Because generally when you go to the inventory tab and the user information, device serial number, or any specific information will also be listed under the inventory section, which an authorized administrator can see. But when you're sending it for an auditing purpose, or when it comes to top level management would like to check these details, and if you want to hide the personal information as well, then you do have a policy under the admin section. First, let me show you how a report would look like without hiding these personal details. So it will have all these information. It seems the device policy is already been configured. So you go to the export settings. So initially, in all the instance, whichever it has been created as a fresh, it will have an option like do not mask, do not remove the personal information. This is how it will be configured. So when you download or when take a report about it, not just from inventory, even when you go to the report section and when you pull out a report, this is how it would look like, where it displays all the information about it. But it's better when you send it for auditing purposes. You can choose this, either you mask it or hide the personal information and then take out a report. This is also one of the few common requests which has been contacted by the customers to our support team, where you can hide the secure information like this. And now when you export these reports, all the personal information like email ID, serial number will all be hidden. It will be masked like this. So you can make use of the device privacy section and terms of use URL in case if you have your own company policy which you would like to create. You do have an option to create and upload the necessary file format and create a policy as per your need. At the same time, if you want to customize the report export settings, you have the options here. And in order to configure a secure gateway server, like an additional relay server for the internet devices, you have it here so that you only this particular server you place it in the DMZ zone will be exposed to the internet. And you have the API integrations here, the help desk integration options here. And action log viewer gives you the list of activities being done by the administrator. All right, this is all about the modern management aspect of Windows laptop and MacBook under our MDM section. Hope you like the training program. Please rate us on a scale of 1 to 5, and 5 is the best. And if you like the training program, please spread the word using the hashtag mobile device manager plus or /ManageEngine in these social media platforms. Since we're all connected on these social media platforms these days, please spread your love. And I thank each and everyone for joining the webinar, and take care. Thank you.